Hey everyone, it's LS here at the FlyQuest LoL YouTube channel, and we are going to jump right into patch 1925. This isn't the world's patch, but there are some meaningful changes inside of it, and so, you know, some things are better than nothing. So let's just go right in and how this might affect competitive. Ahri is statistically fairly weak right now, so we'd like to give her an edge in aggressively diving into the enemy team, risking her life for the resets. Our Spirit Rush damage per hit is going to go up by a flat 50. Oh, wow. 15 at rank. Wow. Oh, my lord. Wait, wow. Wait, that's quite a bit of damage. Even at rank 1, that's actually, I mean, that's nice for the R. At rank 2 and rank 3, this is actually noticeable amounts of damage. This is actually quite nice. That is a very noticeable buff. So, Ahri definitely does need this because she is a mosquito. She basically suffers from the same thing that Lillia does, except Ahri has a little bit more reliability on the setup, but she's not as good of a lane neutralizer as Lillia, where they basically both just fall off a cliff after 2 items and they're not really doing anything, and everything about them becomes dependent on their teammates pretty much at that point. So, a lot of mid lane stuff has devolved to that point because mid is just in a really weird spot with an abundance of things, mostly tied to items and whatnot, and so that's where they are right now. Brand is a little weak early on, especially in his more income-heavy roles. So we're giving him more power to let him run over the games where he gets off to a good start by nuking his opposition. So the monster damage modifier is going up again. So this is... It's increasing his clear speed, and some people will say that this doesn't matter because Brand clears his camps and then has nothing to do. So the clear speed doesn't matter, and they completely forget that the faster that you clear your camps, the faster that they respawn. And so if eventually Brand is, you know, doing laps on you, depending on like the jungle matchup or something like that, then that is where the buffs end up coming in. But these are definitely very nice. So the Pillar of Flame is getting a flat 10% AP to it, which is... It's okay, but again, remember, Brand's first item is Liandry's, and then it's Rylai's. He doesn't really get AP, right? Brand is always going to be under 200 AP. So what that means is that Pillar of Flame is getting less than 20 damage buff. Now, for the first Pillar of Flame or something like that, it's also not really doing anything. The monster damage modifier is just a little bit bigger. I don't think this affects any of his wave clear stuff if you're playing him like mid or you're playing him top lane or, you know, any of those types of shenanigans, etc. I don't think that the 10% AP really does anything. This only maybe starts mattering once you get to like 4 or 5 items, etc., and you cast like an extra 4, you know, you cast 4 or 5 Ws inside of a team fight, and if you land all of them, yes, you get an extra couple hundred damage in a team fight. Nice. Our Pyroclasm damage per hit is also going to get 5% AP, but again, we just talked about it. Brand doesn't get a lot of AP. Now, it's damage per hit. So, you know, if you end up getting 4 hits on someone, it's effectively 20% AP. It is a little bit more damage. If you land your entire combo, which is ultimately what we're looking at here, you can look at like getting an extra 30%, and that is something to mention, but again, it's not like the end of the world, so it just doesn't matter. Caitlyn, base AD is going to go from 60 to 62. Fake. Corki is becoming a little stale in pro play, so we're delivering a nerf to open up the bot lane metagame for Worlds this year. Damage is going to go down by a flat 10 and 5% total AD. It is going to affect him, but negligibly, and he's still going to be picked for the same exact reasons, because Corki is one of the few AD carries that basically allows you to curve 1, 2, and 3 items. Obviously, there's a couple others inside of the game, and then his flex potency, so there's that. Diana is reasonably performant mid laner, but overall weak as a jungler, so we're buffing her bespoke monster mod in order to give her clear a little bit more power. Monster mod is getting 0.4 on the passive Moon Silver Blade. This is really good for her clear speed. This is very, very big. The issue that Diana is suffering from is that she has to itemize a certain way that basically makes her go glass cannon-y, and she does still have a dependence somewhat on her teammates. Even that being said, though, I mean, the clear speed getting this steroided is quite nice for Diana. I just don't think that it's actually going to move the needle on making her come back into at least competitive, even though this is massive for solo queue. Draven has a bit of room for buffs in regular play and is completely missing from pro. We're giving him a little bit of power this patch to see if he can make it back into the spotlight. So he's getting 10% flat attack speed at all ranks on his W, so he's just getting it level 1, which is crazy. So you're getting a dagger for free. So you're getting a 300, you're just getting a dagger for free, which is really crazy when you consider that. Our Whirling Death, damage is going to go up by a flat 25, which is really nice, and then everything else is going to stay the same. So the attack speed modifier probably helps him weave in 1 to 2 more auto attacks, so you take that damage, and then Our Whirling Death gets the extra 25, which is obviously nice also for the execute. So all of that, very good for Draven. Jax base stats is he's going to lose 15 base HP. Our Grandmaster at Arms, initial armor gain is going to go from 25 to 75, 40% bonus AD to 45 to 75. So he's getting a flat 20. Magic resist gain is still 60% of the armor gain. So this isn't as ridiculous as the initial buff that they put on Twitter was, where it looked like they were going to make it so that Jax was a lot stronger versus AD champions, but then significantly weaker versus Magic. Resist gains per additional champion hit is unchanged. That's all totally fine. The initial armor gain is just really big. He gets 2 cloth armors for free, basically, on casting it. And then even still getting an extra 10 armor at rank 2 is quite nice. So very nice little Jax buffs. Jinx has all been missing from pro play for literally no reason. And so this is one of those buffs that Riot does that it really doesn't do anything. I mean, the bonus range at, level 1 and I guess level 2, or rank 1 and rank 2, I mean, that's probably going to be something that can actually be played around. Very, very small, but still. This is the perfect kind of placebo buff where, like, okay, Flame Chompers. Getting extra base damage on Flame Chompers. Super fake placebo buffs. Just trying to, cause pro players to remember Jinx and Smolder, 2 of the best ADCs in the game right now, and yet they are grossly underpicked. And everyone just sort of neglects them, even though lane swaps basically can't be stopped. Leblanc, W Distortion is going to go from it gets 10% AP back, and then Mimic is going to end up getting 5% AP added to it on the Distortion damage. So nice little buffs to LeBlanc. The problem is that LeBlanc is, she is a performance champion, and what I mean by that, she's a job security champion by pretty much all metrics. The one time where she kind of wasn't was when she had the AD variant of LeBlanc, and you could build her either which way, and both were very scary, and that made it very difficult to do stuff against LeBlanc, especially because of her flex potency. But as LeBlanc currently stands inside of the game, there's no justification to pick her. She can have 4 kills and she's still a liability to her team. She will not win you a game. She will not be capable of winning you the game, but she will lose you the game, even in games where she's fed. And that is a byproduct of the way that she is currently designed and sort of balanced, as well as like current modern itemizations and how she stacks up against the rest of the roster. Lee Sin is very performant jungler at almost all levels of play, but is suspiciously absent from pro play. That's because everyone got dramatically better over the last couple of years. The damage on Q Sonic Wave Resonating Strike is going to go up, and then what is going on here? 95. Okay, so it's getting a massive base buff, but it's losing its bonus AD, and this allows Lee Sin to curve better, because at level, this is your first max stability. What ends up happening is you don't have a whole lot of bonus AD. You just have, one item inside of the jungle. And so now that you're not going to be getting that, 60%, you're not going to be getting 60% of the bonus AD, but you're getting so much flat base that you don't need it, and it allows them to itemize differently. Totally fine. Lillia's a little weak, and we'd like to see some AP junglers at Worlds, so we're hoping the perfect candidate for a buff of this patch. Bonus damage on Lilting Lullaby is going to go up by a flat 50 and 5% AP. But again, Lillia, one of those champions that doesn't build the super heavy AP items, so, make of that what you will. Cooldown going down by 10 seconds is also super placebo, so placebo buffs for Lillia. Mel is statistically very weak, and even though she sports a rather high ban rate, that doesn't mean she has to be quite so underpowered for her player base. Okay, bonus damage on attack per spell is going to go up. So she's getting a massive steroid on her bonus attack damage. Bonus damage on attack per spell. Maximum bonus damage is getting 18% AP steroid, and then obviously a massive base AD steroid. So very obnoxious for Mel. This is probably way bigger for ADC Mel than it is for like mid or whatever, but yeah. Okay, Pantheon, Comet Spear is getting massively gutted again. Minion monster damage cap is also getting really hit with his W Shield Vault. This is dramatically hitting his ability to clear Gromp, blue, red, etc. And this might actually just be the thing that does actually kneecap Pantheon. So we might just become a laner again. Q Hammer Shock, 75 to 195 to 50 to 170. So Poppy inside of the jungle is getting hit, but I don't think these numbers actually affect her, to be completely honest, because this amount of damage missing I don't think matters. This is an ability that she casts twice. She's going to be losing a little bit of tick damage. It's going to slow her down a little bit, but it's not going to put her out of the jungle. Seraphine, mana growth is going up by 15, HP growth going up by 5, so she's getting tankier, harder to move out of lane. Amplified damage at low HP now also affects monsters. That's super weird, but obviously not going to be inside of the jungle, but this helps clearing neutrals. W surround sound. Healing is also going to go up a little bit. That's fine. I mean, these are just nice little Seraphine buffs. Ultimately, like Senna Seraphine, things like that, bot lane. Seraphine is very underutilized. This is one of the bigger changes because Syndra also got some love a couple of patches ago, and we have to remember that. So her health growth is going down. So on the first, first recall or something, you're going to end up losing about half an auto attack inside of laning phase worth of HP. That's totally fine. In exchange, if you land just 4 Dark Spheres, you're basically getting half an auto attack worth of damage added back in, but then infinitely more. Syndra, one of the few champions that actually does get a lot of AP inside of the game, so the 5% AP on such a spammable ability is disturbing. And then remember, Syndra ends up having 2 charges of Q, so you have to view this as like double. So she's basically getting 10% AP to her Q, and then she's getting 10 flat. Base. So these are very big changes. E-Scat of the week, just getting 2 seconds off it. The thing that I think might actually be under-researched right now is Syndra Jungle might actually be viable the way that it was once upon a time. And so, I don't think that it's like Season 9 Syndra level, but I do think that there is potentially viability there. And with changes like that, I mean, this significantly helps her clear a lot. And, yeah, I mean, yeah. Redemption. Heal 200 to 400 based on target level to 150 to 350. Very big nerf across the board for everyone. This kind of a heal I don't think is actually enough to take it out. I think that you still build Redemption. It's just too good. And then in addition to that, I think this is the wrong way to go about nerfing it. I think the better way to go about nerfing it would have been to include an AP ratio or something like that. Yeah. I think that would have been better. Or you make it so that it doesn't have some of the other stats that it ends up having, make it have less value in that regard. But yeah. Celestial Opposition will no longer apply the AoE slow if the user's dead. That's fine. Base recharge cooldown is going up by 30 seconds. Minimum recharge cooldown is going up to 2 minutes. Very funny. One of the things that I want to say about Unsealed Spellbook is remember all the times where people were adamant that you had to take certain combat runes in lane, right? Scorch, have to take Aftershock, have to take Second Wind, Bone Plate. You have to do all these things to win laning phase. And now we're in an era where everyone and their mother takes Unsealed Spellbook, which basically doesn't really help you that much inside of laning phase, and you're actually significantly missing a lot of value that you would otherwise have in terms of active combatant ability. And what ended up happening is a lot of people learned how to adjust their laning phase in order to incorporate the room, and yet we apparently can't do that for other types of things and apply the same exact logic. So that is it actually for the patch. The biggest thing is indeed the Syndra change. I would argue the skins are somewhat okay. Karthus looks a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. Karthus looks like he had a little bit too much going on. The Jinx placebo buff is definitely good. Diana is very good for solo queue. The brand change is actually very good for both competitive and solo queue. Ahri thing is definitely noticeable. Draven is very good. There's nothing bad about it. Everything else, for the most part, kind of placebo, although Pantheon probably is gutted. Sivir, I guess actually I did not talk about Sivir. The initial damage is going to lose 15% bonus AD. So, okay, I mean that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much it for this patch, guys. I mean, I don't know if we'd actually see... I mean, we will see Syndra at Worlds, especially depending on what the Worlds patch has in store for items and, like, other things that will definitely hit the meta. Syndra has to be on everyone's radar. The Mel change is nice. Jinx change is huge. Brand... probably something that immediately pro players look at because he was basically everywhere. Poppy, no need to overreact about it. And then Redemption, you're still going to build it if you were building it before. And that is it for the patch note. So that is it. So we'll see you guys for the next one for Worlds, of which FlyQuest is obviously already qualified and they will be there. And so, yeah, we'll figure out who else is going to get changed in the next patch. That's it. See you later.